I feel like there should just be like waiting room music or like the Wii Shop channel.
Keep talking.
Yeah, Wii Shop channel. Great song. Just for everybody who's definitely not tuned in right now. Are we live?
Yeah,
We're live. Awesome.
Whoa.
Okay.
Hello, all you happy viewers.
Yeah, welcome to the first iteration of the Tourney Locator podcast.
TLOC Talk.
Yeah.
I'm Billy Weddingfeld, a.k.a. Bwetz.
And I'm Rob Dixon, also known as Oracle.
Welcome. So, coming up, let's just talk about, what this podcast is all about.
Yes.
Well, even Streamcast. We'll go with Streamcast.
Yeah. Just cast. We're casting something.
Casting.
Yeah.
Not a doctor. Not a doctor.
So anyways, we're just going to talk about what's going on in Tourney Locator, what's been happening, what's going to happen in the future. We've got a lot in store, and we're all going to talk about that. But first, I think we're going to talk about, we had a big game come out.
Smash 4 for the 3DS.
Smash 4 for the 3DS.
Super exciting.
Yeah.
In Japan only. Sorry, all you English-speaking people.
Yeah. You guys can have fun with the 5-character demo for the next 3 weeks.
It was really only fun for about 6 hours.
It was fun for like 10 games. There's only so many FD 2-minute time matches you can play with 5 characters.
Yeah, and I streamed that for like 18 hours.
Yeah.
I wanted to kill myself.
Oh my god.
Not really, but seriously.
Yeah.
So we had a Smash 4 Invitational. Spoilers, Zero Suit Samus, hosted by Dakpo, ended up winning that pretty handily.
Yeah. Well, he did actually take one loss in Swiss. He got 2-0'd by Aerolink.
Which is, do you think that's surprising?
Sort of. It's hard to say, because Palutena just looked, the way Aerolink was playing, Palutena looked broken. Just insanely good. He destroyed everyone. I don't think he lost a single game during Swiss.
He definitely he 2-0'd Cephalon.
Yeah, so that's the person I would have thought could have taken a game.
Yeah.
But,
if I had played him.
Yeah.
No, I was terrified of him. I was terrified of him, and I was terrified of Dakpo. Dakpo having really, really strong brawl fundamentals.
Yeah, Dakpo is just playing the same character he played for 6 years, but minus armor pieces plus a bunch of other buffs. So.
Yeah, pretty scary. So what ended up happening was we had Swiss, a new tournament format, which was very exciting. Something that you really don't see in the tournament community with regards to fighting games. And that's mostly because of the necessity of setups.
Yeah, Swiss is one of the best ways you can run a tournament, which is why you see it in a ton of games. It's actually a really old tournament format. It's been used for years in chess. It's used in basically any card game, Magic the Gathering.
Any of the very professional card games, even the lower ones, the newer ones, they all use Swiss.
Yeah, and the reason is it gives everybody a chance to play. Double elimination brackets are good, but you still have people who go,
they just play 2 games and they're out. Like
wow,
that's not very much fun, and that's not very much experience.
Mm-hmm. The Swiss gives you a ton of rounds, even when you're technically out of the tournament. With no chance of advancing. It gives everybody a reason to play, but the main reason you don't see it run is because of the issue with setups.
Yep.
In card games and chess, you don't really have a setup. You just need table space. Yep. You just need a seat for every person in your tournament. They bring their own cards, mat, and whatever, and then they just sit down and play. And you can tell everyone, you just go to this spot at the table and play. Yeah. We've seen it in 1,000-person Magic the Gathering tournaments. Yeah, and it works well.
And it's run on time.
Yeah, you squeeze 10 or 11 rounds.
Yeah.
In a big Magic tournament.
I feel sorry whenever they have to do that many rounds.
Oh god.
This is 1,000-person tournaments. Oh, we're going to be doing 11 rounds of Swiss, and just some people just aren't ready. They are not prepared.
Oh man. Preparing I have definitely been I've definitely been in a couple of those tournaments. It just
I've been in one where it was 8, and I was sleeping by the end.
yeah, it's pretty tough. It's a grind.
But
we didn't have that issue because we only had 12 people.
We had 12 people, 12 invitational people who came down. One of them flew down. Strong Bad flew down in order to support the tournament and to get his hands on the game.
Yeah.
So, with regards to the game, what do you think about it?
It's okay. I had extremely low expectations.
Yeah.
I played Brawl. I sort of knew about the competitive scene, but not really.
Yeah.
I played Brawl for about a month.
Mm-hmm.
And then I liked it, and then I was just like, I miss playing Pichu. I want to play Pichu. And I popped in Melee, one game, and I was just like, wow, Brawl is terrible. Just even as like a casual, I could tell it's just like these are not the same game. This is awful.
Yeah.
And so I just didn't look back. I never even tried to play Brawl from that point. That was like 2 months after the game came out. And so like I know I'm very experienced with how not good Brawl is, and I really expected Nintendo to just make Brawl 2. And in a way they did, but it's a good way.
Yeah.
It's Brawl with what seems to be a ton of the problems fixed.
It feels like a lot of the problems revolved around number 1, hit stun, and number 2, viability of characters due to very polarizing characters.
Yeah.
And that was essentially taken away. Hit stun has been increased to the point where you can either do legitimate combos or nearly do legitimate combos. Yeah. And just being able to nearly do legitimate combos is perfectly fine. Like you then increase the chance of mind games and the ability to just read your opponent. Mm-hmm. Rather than putting it back into neutral and having to make another guess.
Yeah. Part of the reason, on a technical note, actually Brawl has, I think, more hit stun than Melee. It's just that for whatever reason, you can cancel it with an air dodge. So that's how you get out of combos in Brawl. You're supposed to be in stun, but then you can just do actions out of it. So it's not really hit stun.
Yeah.
But yeah, with that fixed, air dodges are just like a terrible option now.
Air dodges just seem really punishable.
Imagine whiffing a Donkey Kong forward air and having to deal with a not L-canceled landing leg. That's what happens every time you air dodge into the ground. It's terrible. It's not good.
Yeah, I find myself, I'll air dodge a lot early on, like whenever I'm in the air, but I rarely actually air dodge into the ground. I prefer to choose other options, like either trying to catch them with an aerial or accepting my fate.
Yeah. I've been air dodging a bunch, and then almost every time I'm just like, why did I do that?
Yeah.
I did it versus Vinny online, and he reacted to it and just charged an up smash with Rob, and we were doing Rob dittos, and I died at like 85. Just like, oh, why did I? I felt so stupid.
So percentage-wise with the game, it seems like characters will, if you're just playing the game and not trying to use like the most efficient route of how to kill with each character, probably going to die 120, around 120-ish. A lot of characters have very strong kill moves that can kill around 80, maybe 90.
Yeah.
It's great. Things, if you end up getting a good read, or just not even caring as Little Mac, that can go down between 20 to 60.
Yeah.
Which is really good. All the characters feel really unique and really interesting. All their animations are very beautiful.
Oh, God, the game looks great. The new FD is beautiful. A lot of stages, characters. The only thing I don't like about the game is that to save processing power, everything that's not a character runs at 30 FPS, whereas the other aspects of the game run at 60 FPS. And it just looks really weird, really out of place. Mm-hmm. Like, in the demo, we were playing with items, and I got the Girahim assist trophy, and it just looked terrible, like super choppy. Not so much that it was 30 frames, but that it was 30 frames where literally everything around him is running at 60 frames.
Yeah.
It's super weird. A little bit unnerving.
Well, fortunately for us, we don't use items.
Yeah, I actually, I paid attention. The Bowser Jr. Down Me, the Koopaling, actually, it runs at 30 FPS.
Really?
Yeah, you have to look hard because it's small. It was just like, wow, this is, it's kind of ugly. Good thing it's tiny and we don't have to notice it.
Yeah. So yeah, the characters look great. Each one has just really interesting mechanics. Little Mac is this insane powerhouse that the game rewards you for never ever jumping.
Yeah.
That's really interesting. You have things like Marth. Marth has been kind of like, he feels nerfed.
Yeah, I've heard that. I haven't played him at all, but I've heard he's just not good. I heard he had like a ton of a ton of landing lag, trouble killing, etc.
I just don't even want to touch him.
Yeah,
I'm terrified. I tried twice, and I was like, I'd rather just, please.
Yeah, but Lucina, though, seems to be a better version of Marth.
Yeah.
With that up smash that you were very familiar with.
No, Luck, why'd you do that? In the Invitational, Luck ended up charging multiple smashes that killed me extremely early, and he knew his character much better than I knew mine. But enough with the funeral. Let's move on. So, potential rule sets.
The rule sets.
So Smash 4 Invitational, we ended up trying something different because we had 12 players. First, we ended up doing a Swiss round, 4 rounds of Swiss. Then after we did 4 rounds of Swiss, we ended up cutting to top 4. The 4 that made it out were Dakpo, Luck, Aerolink, and Austin. And I really liked Swiss. Swiss was really interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we had a ton of great matches. I would have liked to do more rounds, but it's sort of a time constraint issue.
Yeah.
Especially because we, only have so many 3DSs and we wanted to get everything on stream.
Yeah.
But overall, it was a very well run tournament. Not to brag, because I did run it. But it went quickly. We got a lot of quality matches. And it was really just a lot of fun.
So what do you think about rule sets in the future? Do you think that TOs are going to adopt the Swiss style? Do you think that they're going to stay beholden to the bracket regime? Or what do you think?
Well, Sean, another member of our Trinity Locator
Infinity.
team. Yeah,
Sean Infinity Horn.
Sean, yeah. He couldn't make it today, but he actually recently proposed a rule set that's 3 stock and 8 minutes. Now, if you've seen the game played or played the game with Aerolink, you would probably, just hearing 3 stock, 8 minutes, just want to just tear your hair out, because every match, a lot of the matches I've seen with some of the campier characters, like Rosalina, lots of projectile ones, will just by the time it gets down to a few minutes, if you have a lead, it's just not winnable.
Yeah.
And we're just going to see a lot of timeouts. Mm-hmm. But Infinity is essentially saying that because we have Swiss, we can just set time limits for the rounds, and it doesn't really matter how many, how long it is. So 3 stock, 8 minutes seems like a long time, but if we just say 30-minute rounds, even if every game went to time and you took 2 full minutes before every stage selection, then
we're still running on time.
Yeah, we're still on time.
Yep.
And the reason you can run Swiss is because everybody brings their own setup, which is really cool and a really interesting thing about the 3DSs. Unlike other tournaments where people have to provide the setups and we have what is essentially an undetermined amount before the tournament, now we can assume that every single person is going to have a setup, and
which
everyone can play their match at the exact same time, which lets us run Switch, which is
and
beautiful.
Swiss is, for all intents purposes, a better format.
Oh, totally. More matches
for the people actually playing the game. It is a better format. Some may say, "Oh, well, for the people watching, It's not very exciting because you don't have this sort of like fairy tale of starting out from nothing and climbing your way to the top and being able to go, this is the final match. And with Swiss, it's much harder to see that. It's much harder to see that this is the final match, that this will decide who wins the tournament. But there are ways around this. Number one is informing the users.
Yeah, of course.
It's
like this guy's on the bubble. It's like we're cutting to top 8, and he's 0-2. He's 7-2. If he loses this round, he is. If either of these players lose this round, they are not advancing. So bubble matches are from. I mean, when you're on the bubble is a term. Do people use it in Magic? It's from
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah, from my time in Yu-Gi-Oh, it's your match when it's the last round of Swiss at a tournament. There's a set number of people, usually top 32.
Making it out and going to make it into bracket.
Yeah, and you're in a position where generally it's you get 3 losses means you can't top 32. Generally. So people who will be X and 2, they've won some number of rounds and lost 2. If they lose one more, they don't make the top cut. So they're in a situation where they cannot lose if they want to advance in the tournament. And they're playing an opponent in the exact same situation. So it's some of the most, this is when it gets down to the nitty-gritty. It's like, this is what it boils down to.
And personally for me, I love that. It feels like you end up having more what feels like finals matches.
Yeah.
You have very tense sets because instead of just, this person gets knocked out at this point, instead it's all of these people are trying to fight for these top 8 positions.
Yeah.
And then, cutting to bracket.
Yeah.
Which I assume if TOs adopt the format of Swiss, it will be Swiss and cutting to bracket.
Oh, yeah. That's definitely what I would want to do. Cut to a top 8, maybe a top 16 at the bigger tournaments.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you do, to touch on your earlier point about not having the bracket, so this sort of fairy tale story, you can have that. You can have both because once the Swiss is over, you just cut to a double elimination bracket.
Yeah. So do you think that TOs are actually going to adopt it?
It's really hard to say because it's not something that people are used to running in the Smash community.
It's not entirely intuitive.
Yeah.
Especially whenever you have to deal with tiebreakers and having to deal with, these people each got 3-1 and they lost to these people. And the way you do tiebreakers with that is you see that person and how well they did. And usually, you can't... It is very, very hard to do that by hand. Instead, you end up having a program to take care of it for you.
Mm-hmm. I mean, the biggest issue is just that it's new. That it's a total... it's a total huge change in the way that tournaments are run. Mm-hmm. We're going to be adopting it because obviously we know it's the best. But for other TOs who, me, you, and Sean we played Magic and other card games for years, so we understand Swiss, but that's not an overlap that's going to exist with a lot of tournament organizers. So a lot of people are just going to say, I've seen a lot of people just react negatively when anybody suggests different ways of running tournaments. Juggle Guy, shouts to Juggle Guy, probably the best TO in the country. Yeah, sorry, other TOs. It's just you can't compete. Juggle Guy's way too good. But anyways, he at some of his local tournaments tried triple elimination, which is
that sounds hard.
It looked really hard to run, but I think it's pretty simple. It's just you basically because when you have a single elimination bracket, you have some number of matches, and then you have twice as many matches in losers bracket, and then you just have I think 3 times as many matches as the single elimination in the double losers bracket. Because you just get an extra round added per round, essentially. So he's run that to some success, but a lot of people just don't like it.
Well, I think a lot of it is just you end up adding a lot of time to the matches. Obviously, from the standpoint of any decent player to very good players, this actually really doesn't affect them. In terms of what's going to happen, they're still going to play about the same amount of matches. The doing double elimination and if you add anything else, that's really, in my opinion, just to help those lower level players, those 0-2 players who just come to the tournament and, they're paying $15, $20, or nationals up to $50 just to be in this tournament, and then they only get to play 2 matches, and then they're gone. So I think Swiss is just going to make everyone just, hey, I get to play 5 rounds, and this
5 rounds, more like 7 rounds.
Well, yeah,
depending on the size of the tournament.
So I hope we do it.
Yeah, we're gonna do it. I really hope other TOs, if you're watching, if you plan to run Smash for 3DS, I would really recommend that you try this at least once, because it has a ton of potential for being just great, just awesome.
So we've talked about how to run the tournaments in terms of organizing the players and getting them to play their matches. What do you think about stage lists?
Well,
this is specifically for Smash 4 for the 3DS.
For the 3DS, of what I've seen, stages are just really, really, for lack of a better term, kind of janky.
Super jank.
A lot of the stages... I mean, here's the thing. A platform fighter like Smash is sort of a flawed concept to begin with, because you're going to place a lot of value on mobility.
Yeah.
Which is not necessarily a problem, which you can see in, Brawl. Some of the less mobile characters like Ice Climbers and Holm are actually the better players. And you can circumvent it in your engine. However, that's only on a limited stage list with a few stages. The reason why you see stages like Hyrule Temple, Onet... not Onet. What's the 4-side one? Yeah.
4-side.
4-side, the huge stages like that is that fast characters can just run.
Yeah.
You can just get a hit and run the clock. One of the stages people were talking about was that Me House stage that's just 4 platforms.
Yeah.
But the problem with that is, like, if I'm playing against a Little Mac, I'm going to hit him once and I'm just going to jump. And now I'm in such a positional advantage.
Huge positional advantage.
Little Mac has to jump at me, and he sucks in the air.
Yeah, super sucks. Like, all of his moves, even if you hit them...
Yeah, it's like 4% on his strongest aerial move.
And they have no knockback. Like,
Yeah.
practically no knockback, such that if you hit them, you could just hit them back. Like, instantly.
Yeah,
Which
it's
is
pretty
really
bad. And, I mean, you just see that with a lot of the faster characters being able to dominate for free on the bigger stages. So there's just a few things that you want to look for in stages to know if they're instant banned.
Yeah.
The first thing is a circle camping route, where you can essentially lead your opponent on a path where they cannot get you. So you just have certain positions on the stage. So let's say on the Mii Fighter stage, I'm going to go up to the top left corner. My opponent has to chase me. He gets me up here. I run over here, fall down to the ledge. So now he has to come down. He also has to fall, but after me. And since I'm faster, I'm always going to be ahead of him.
Yeah.
So you have to look for those routes where they can just make a circle and have somebody constantly following them.
Yep.
Good stages like FD or Battlefield or whatever, they don't have those routes. When you can run away, maybe gain a little bit of an advantage, but eventually your back's going to come up to a wall and you're going to have to fight.
And that's whenever you end up having to make a decision, and your opponent can read you in that decision.
Yeah, and that's what we want. You know, maybe it involves a little bit of running away, but at the end of the day, there's still interaction, and that's what we want to promote. The other thing that I always look for is holes in the stage. So this is a little trickier of a thing to consider, but when there's holes, you usually have to force your opponent to jump at you. So let's think of Congo Jungle or Jungle Japes, the one with the running water.
You have 2 platforms and then a platform in the middle.
If you're a space animal in Melee, on Jungle Japes, if you sit on one of those platforms and shoot lasers, your opponent has two options to approach you. One of them is jump over the hole. So there's like a middle platform here, a side platform, and the space animal's here. Yeah, that's the middle platform. Here's the side, and there's a hole. The one option is to jump at them. The other option is to get on the ledge.
Yep.
Both of those are bad positions. So by sitting on this platform and throwing projectiles, Fox has put himself in a position where his opponent has to limit himself just to interact.
And the Fox didn't have to pay for that positional advantage.
No, he actually just ran to the side because he's
Yeah.
the faster character and he has better projectiles. So generally, in all the stages that I look for, don't have any holes like that.
Yeah. A lot of the things that I've seen just revolve around you can get positional advantage. Obviously, we aren't against positional advantage.
Of course
but
not.
a lot of the things about positional advantage is that you're either making reads or putting pressure on your opponent in order to gain that positional advantage. For instance, if you are on Battlefield, right? And let's say that you are Marth on Battlefield. A high positional advantage would be for your opponent to be on a platform and for you to be on the ground. And so usually you'll end up having to make a read, typically, let's say, a grab. And that grab, where you up throw and then they land on the platform, that is what you paid in order to gain that positional advantage. You don't get it for free.
Mm-hmm.
You stay at neutral until you end up making that read.
You know, I guess a way you could put it is that you want this positional advantage to derive naturally from the players as opposed to inorganically from the stages themselves. So positions just exist where some characters are better than others, as opposed to earning your positional advantage by forcing your opponent to do something.
Yep.
You know, Marth cannot make his opponent jump to the platform.
Mm-hmm. So we have a feeling about neutrals, and as far as I can tell, everyone is fairly content about the three neutrals being Battlefield, FD, and essentially all the variants of FD being your four glory stages, which have been tested, and as far as I understand it, are the exact same length. It's just different scenery.
I haven't seen that tested. I know they're the same. Strong Bad tested the blast zones, and the blast zones on all the For Glory FDs are the same.
Strong Bad, I talked to him earlier today, and he said that he tested it with rolls.
Oh,
and,
cool.
At least from his input, he says that they are all essentially the same. The only difference is just the scenery.
Cool.
So that's pretty cool.
Well, one of the differences is actually having walls or not on the bottom.
Oh, yes. Yeah,
yes, so
yes.
a character like Sheik can wall cling, whereas she can't do that on regular FD.
Yep, exactly. So I think everyone's pretty safe with regards to like choosing those as our neutrals. And I guess the more appropriate question is the question of counterpicks and which of these stages are not busted.
Yeah.
And so what do you think about that?
So far, we've found only one stage.
It's true.
Yeah, only one stage, Lumio City, which is essentially a better version of Delfino. Just imagine Delfino, but instead of water and weird triple stages and a bunch of nonsense, you have a small walk-off at the beginning.
Yeah.
And I think you can go back to the walk-off. But it's only for a few seconds, and then just different platform layouts.
And then plus, in general, walk-offs in Brawl were a really terrible thing.
Because of one character.
Yeah.
Because of King Dedede.
Yeah. King Deity having his down throw. His down throw being able to chain grab a very large portion of the cast, at least large enough to make a very big difference in the metagame. But that's gone entirely. He has a completely different down throw, and he definitely can't get a grab.
Yeah.
So walk-offs are not as bad anymore. They still make it slightly polarizing because people can play strategies that revolve around that blast zone, but the opponent can just wait it out.
Yeah, that's the real thing. I mean, other walk-offs, people speculated for years that stages like the Yoshi's Island Pipes in Melee and it's another Mushroom Kingdom 2 in Melee that you could just camp the blast zone and then just get one hit and your back throw just kills him in like 50.
Yeah.
But on a changing stage like Lumio City, if they do that, all you have to do is wait. Yeah. And then you instantly have center stage for free because they chose to do something stupid.
And you have strong positional advantage because of it.
Yeah, exactly.
So that about takes it for counter picks. Do you think that there could possibly be any others?
We actually have unlocked almost none of the stages. I think there's more.
Wait, really?
I think we have stages that haven't been unlocked. Like,
whoops.
I don't know if any of them are going to be any good. I really don't have high hopes. There's like 20 stages or something in the default, and we got 4 from that. So it's really slim chances that anything is going to be usable.
I need to get working on that.
Yeah, we got to figure out how to unlock that.
So that's about counter picks. This is a small number of stages. That's 4 stages. And typically in at least Smash tournaments, a lot of Smash tournaments have implemented Dave's Stupid Rule. Dave's Stupid Rule being that if you win on a stage and it's your turn to pick the next stage, you cannot just go back to the stage that you just won on. Mm-hmm. That rule can't really be in place whenever you have a best of 5.
Yeah, that's tough. I mean, we could do it for... Actually, can we even do it for 2 out of 3? So if somebody wins on Battlefield, they can't go back there.
Yeah.
And then they lose. Their opponent wins...
They really only have an option of like 2 stages.
Yeah. Yeah, so... I guess you could technically run it for 2 out of 3s, but... I think it would give the losing player the choice to pick the stage. Yeah. Because if he gets a stage ban, then maybe we could do no bans. Or...
I don't see banning being a thing.
Oh yeah, you're right.
There are only 4 stages. If you give bans, then you essentially dictate the flow of the entire.
Yeah,
set.
You're right. I think we could do DSR, but only for 2 out of 3s, just for. Just for those. If there's no bans, because I really just don't like seeing sets where somebody only wins on one stage. I've seen people test tournaments with no DSR, and that's almost inevitably what happens. You give Mewtwo King infinite FDs. Yeah, he's probably gonna do a lot better than normal.
Yep. I like the idea of having the 2 out of 3 sets being DSR, but having things like finals and at bigger tournaments, semifinals being DSR, no DSR.
Yeah, we could always do modified DSR, which is what occasionally takes place, where you can only go to you can't go to the last stage you won on. So if I beat you on FD game 1, I think if I beat you again on some other stage and then you choose a stage, I can go back to FD.
Yeah. I mean, that makes sense. It's going to be hard. I mean, we don't have a whole lot of choices. There are 4 stages. That's at least from what we've seen, from our limited view of the stages. I don't know how many there actually are. But if it's any indication based off of the 24 that we currently have, those other ones are probably also going to be garbage. But who knows?
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
So we have a few new mechanics in Smash 4, and there's a really big one. And Strong Bad helped us test this last night. And that is that DI is very, very different. Although it feels the same, very, very different.
Okay, so I really want to just draw this out.
They're not going to be able to see it.
My inner teacher. I really want to, but I'm going to try not to.
Okay.
So essentially the difference is, from a nerdy physics standpoint...
Whoa. Let's go deep.
Yeah. In the previous games, well, in Melee and Brawl, you hold a direction. So let's say your initial knockback angle, Fox up smash, whatever. You go up. You go straight up.
Boom. I got a box.
Yeah. Got the box.
Got the box.
So we go.
Boom.
We go up, and if you DI, all you do is change the angle that this sends at. So it's the same power, but I want to DI to the side. It goes maybe a little bit that way. And you usually want to DI towards the corner since you can influence the direction. Because if it's going the same distance, let's say a move was going to send me exactly this length from the bottom to the top. If I had that length but rotated this way towards the corner, because there's more room between me and the blast zone, I won't die.
Yep.
So that's how DI works in the previous Smash games. However, we figured out that you actually add a vector when you DI. And the reason that this is different is that previously you only swapped the angles, but if you're adding a vector, you also change the magnitude or essentially the knockback of the move.
Yep.
So in the previous example, you add, instead of just changing the angle this way, you add the vector, and then you go...
So essentially, what happens is you have a certain amount of power that is making your character fly in a direction, right?
This is really hard. I really just want to draw this.
Okay, so you have Fox, right? And Fox gets an up smash and it sends you flying in the air, right? And let's say it sends you at 100 miles per hour, and it sends you at 100 miles per hour up, and that's definitely going to kill you, right? With normal DI, you just hold it left or right. It influences your direction, but it doesn't change the fact that you're going to be traveling, let's say, 100 miles.
Yeah.
You're still going to go the 100 miles. With this new DI, instead of it being just trajectory-based, instead, you're essentially influencing the speed at which you travel, and therefore the distance at which you travel. So instead of flying that 100, if you hold down, let's say Fox does an up smash, if you hold down, you actually fly less far. If normally you would hold left if you get hit straight up. If you hold left, then you influence it, you don't die. In this one, you're still going to travel that distance up.
Well, yeah, if you hold only left, then your vector gets added to the original vector, but because this is horizontal and this is vertical, it doesn't actually affect the vertical component. So you're still going to travel this much up. You're just also going to travel this much out at the same time. So the way we figured it out is that Strong Bad would charge a Game & Watch up smash at kill percent and hold no direction.
Yep.
And they go straight up and die at some percent. And this was the minimum percent to kill at. And then he would hold left, and they would change the angle, and the character goes up like this when they get hit with the up smash. But they died at the exact same percent because the vertical component of the knockback, essentially the amount that you go up by, is unaffected by the sideways vector.
So now with this newfangled vector DI versus trajectory DI. With this newfangled vector DI, it now promotes people to go with the basic instincts that they had whenever they first played Smash, which is if you get hit in a direction, you hold towards the center of the stage.
You want to, you just want to hold the opposite direction that you're going to travel. If you get hit up, you want to hold down. If you get hit like this, you want to hold that direction.
Yep, and that will slow down your trajectory and make you possibly live. The only trajectory that it doesn't actually really affect all that much is if you end up getting hit to the left or the right, because you're still going to be holding up and towards the stage to be able to survive it. Like, that's not going to change.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's Vector DI. We encourage you to try it out on your 2-minute demos.
Yeah.
And see what you think of it. But Pretty crazy.
Yeah,
pretty
it's
crazy.
pretty big. This really changes a lot of the fundamental DI that was in both Melee and Brawl.
Yeah. A lot of people think that it's going to. Right now, we feel like, it seems like we have guaranteed combos, right? But since you have this vector DI, that means that you can end up holding away from a character and increasing the amount that you get knocked back by, and thereby getting out of the combo. Whether or not that's true, we'll see. Especially whenever the game comes out and we'll have, millions of people playing it, and then we'll really see. Whether or not it's true, who knows?
We'll see. This is our theory based on the evidence that we found in a variety of experiments conducted by Strongbad. Shout out to Strongbad. Thank you for doing that. All credit goes to him for this discovery. He's got a really deep understanding of Smash mechanics, so it doesn't really surprise me that he figured it out. I've just given up on DI. It's really subtle, the Vector Edition, and it doesn't affect your angles as much, or at least it doesn't seem to matter as much. So I've just been holding random directions and just doing it instinctively. But this is definitely something that I'm gonna try to learn and implement into my gameplay now that I understand.
So one of the reasons why I think that they ended up coming up with this vector DI is the fact that essentially you're going to be playing on a 3DS, right?
Yeah.
People are already breaking their 3DSs because they're trying to smash GI. I assume that they're trying to smash GI, right? Doing this vector DI essentially makes it so where you have automatic smash GI. You're automatically getting sent and smash GIing in the direction that you're holding, which essentially allows you to not break your 3DS. So for those of you out there that are trying to smash GI, please
don't. For
the love of God, stop.
Just stop.
You're going to break your system. You don't need to do that.
Yeah.
As well as that, you can mash out very easily with just the buttons. So you don't need to wiggle with the
rotate
the
the face buttons.
Yeah. I cry every time I see on Reddit another 3DS that has fallen to the graveyard.
Yeah.
And those of you that know how to fix 3DSs, y'all are sitting on a gold mine waiting to happen.
Yep, so, you guys are...
Prepare
you guys lucked your way into a very lucrative business opportunity.
Yes. By the way, you should send me your email. Teach me how to do it. I feel like making some money.
We should have just learned it and then lied to them. It's like, Smash DI's in the game. You're just not hitting it hard enough. You gotta try harder.
Yeah, you have half Smash DI now. Yeah. It's not vector. You just need to do double the inputs.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's essentially a large amount of the new mechanics in the game. My overall opinion is that I love it. It's a really fun game, and I feel like it's going to be more competitive than Brawl. A lot of people have been asking, what's the next Meta Knight? I think that Nintendo has made sure that that's not going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, Meta Knight's really good largely because of a number of glitches in Brawl. The game was just coded terribly. There's so many things that weren't supposed to happen. None of Meta Knight's moves are supposed to be able to clank.
Yeah.
But because of they're supposed to be transcendent like they are in PM, where instead of clanking with hitboxes, they'll just go through them.
Yeah.
But because of a coding error, everything clanks, including aerials. And it's the only character in the game that can clank aerials. And that's why Tornado's so brutal, because it can clank things.
Yeah.
As opposed to just going through stuff.
Yep.
So, I mean, there's countless examples of stuff like that. And this looks like they put a lot more work into it. Mm-hmm. Either that or it looks like they purposefully made the game a lot simpler, which is not necessarily a bad thing.
Yeah, you don't have to have an overly complicated game and control structure in order to have a competitive game.
I mean, look at Dive Kick. I mean, the whole idea behind that is that, I think the creator of the game was talking. He said something along the lines of, a bunch of buttons and moves and attacks don't make a metagame, The metagame develops as a result of the players.
Yeah.
The interactions, finding the strong options, what beats those, what beats those options, and then the sort of, mix up RPS 50-50, all of that nonsense wraps up into the interactive aspect. And you don't need a bunch of buttons for that.
Really, the increase in like move sets, in options, just makes it so where the game has more survivability in terms of how long the game's longevity before it becomes stale. But in a lot of senses of any particular game, you're going to end up reaching like the natural life cycle of the game in terms of the next game is coming out before that staleness ever comes about.
Yeah.
Just look at the difference between Street Fighter and Ultra Street Fighter.
Yeah.
They had about 2 years. They went through a numerous amount of, oh God, this character can do this? What? Hakan is winning? It takes a long time to figure out who's good and who's amazing.
To truly figure out like what the broken characters are, not just what the good characters are, because it's easy to identify a good character, but usually the stuff that gets characters banned is extremely complicated and takes a long time to figure out.
Yeah. So so what do you think about Smash 4 as a competitive game? Do you think it's going to be better than Brawl?
That's not hard. I'm pretty sure I could think of a game in my head that I could make with like crafts in my 4th grade class.
Ultimate tic-tac-toe. Let's do this.
That would be more competitive than Brawl. Sorry to all the Brawl players. Brawl's sort of fun. I've played Brawl.
I played Brawl for 2 years.
As a game, it's a great game.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I can only see so many matches where Mewtwo King spawns on the top platform, Nakat spawns at the bottom, and they literally spend a minute and a half not moving. Because that's just... Meta Knight doesn't want to get grabbed. Ice Climbers don't want to lose the lead, because then Meta Knight's going to run away.
Yeah.
So that's just what happens.
Yep.
I mean, it's going to be... being better than that is not going to be hard. I think there's a huge chance it's going to be way better than that. Like, very deep, very fun, and
more characters.
I'm praying that it's not broken. I'm praying that we're not just missing the Meta Knight or the Olimar or the Ice Climbers of the game. But it really, to me right now, it does not look like one of those characters exists.
Yep.
I really hope that I'm not wrong.
Well, we had inklings of Meta Knight within the first month of the game. We felt it.
I guess so.
I felt it. Infinity lived near us, so I felt it. I don't know about anyone else, but
it took a while before Plank realized it was just, if I hit them once, I don't have to leave the ledge, and then this timer will win me the game.
Well, that was just a cherry on top.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that basically ends our talk about Smash 4.
Mm-hmm.
Up next, we're going to talk about our upcoming events, what we have planned for the future, and how that influences you. So upcoming tournaments this weekend. What's today? Tuesday. This weekend in College Station, Texas, is going to be Farmers Fight.
Farmers Fight 2.
Yeah, the second iteration.
Yeah.
This is going to be hosted by Gareth Casper, a.k.a. G-Rabbit. Mm-hmm. And it's going to be for PM singles and doubles.
Yes, it's going to be for Project M singles and doubles. It's going to be a lot of fun. I didn't actually make it to the first one, but they had like 45 people.
It's a good amount.
Yeah, especially for College Station. They have a number of people out there. They have like 20-something man weekly tournaments and stuff, which is good for a College Station.
Dallas.
Yeah, for not a major city.
Yeah. So that's going to be happening this upcoming Saturday. We will be there. We will be streaming. So if you want to see PM, UTD, Zach, essentially most of the entire Smash House here
Yeah.
in Dallas will be coming. Smash House being our house. We'll be going. You'll see Infinity. Yeah, it's going to be a great time. So stay tuned for that. Then on the 27th, which will be the next weekend, we're going to have our latest Bowser's Revenge.
Bowser's Revenge 11. Bowser's Revenge 10 was almost a year ago.
It was a long time.
Should just be Bowser's Revival. Revival of Bowser.
Mario's Revenge. So that will be coming up the next week, and that will be hosted by Alex McGuire, a.k.a. Sethlon. That's going to be here in Dallas at the FX Game Exchange.
Well, technically in Plano, but
yeah,
it's in the Metroplex.
Yeah, people who don't know Dallas,
it's Dallas.
It's Dallas, but yeah, it's going to be technically Plano. That will be also PM singles and doubles, and we will be there.
Yeah, we will also be there streaming. FX Game Exchange is a great venue. I mean, just going to plug them really quick. If you haven't been to FX Game Exchange, they've got a lot of old games, a lot of cool stuff.
Oh, yeah.
At the tournament, they had like a bargain bin, and there was actually like a bowling ball controller. It was so cool. I forgot to buy it.
What?
It was like a plastic bowling ball, but it had buttons on it. It was
That's
really
awesome.
cool. And I was just like, can I get 2 of these for $1? And the guy was like, sure. And then I forgot. It's the greatest regret of my life up to this date.
So then, after that, we're having the big event. The big event that's going to be on October 4th, the very next weekend. What is that big event?
The big event is Big House 4.
The Big House 4.
Yeah, we talked about Juggle Guy earlier. I mean, that guy's a beast. He's running it, so it's going to be a really smoothly run tournament. It's got a ton of entrants. So many entrants.
I think it's around 400 for Melee.
Yeah.
And it's over 200 for PM.
Yeah, they capped PM
Insane.
doubles like instantly. I think I got the second to last spot. Yeah.
Did you slip some money under the table?
Yeah. I mean, I lucked out because I forgot about it, and then Strong Bad was like, there's 2 spots left. You need to register right now.
Yeah. So we're going to be there as well. We will be doing all of PM for that event. You're going to see Rob Oracle Dixon as well as Infinity there. They will be handling the stream and trying to help out as much as possible.
Yeah. And hopefully winning some of the money.
Yeah, a little bit.
Hopefully.
A little bit. Bring it home to mama. And so while they're doing that, so they're going to be streaming. I'm going to be in Dallas at the FX Game Exchange, and I'll be running the first U.S. release Smash tournament, which I have dubbed Finally. That's the name of the tournament. It's called Finally.
That's great.
Smash 4 3DS U.S. release. That will be on October 4th, same day as the Big House at FX Game Exchange. I'll be TOing it, and I'll probably be doing local recordings as well.
Yeah, so it won't be streamed because we'll be using the channel for Big House. But
Sorry, guys.
Check out our YouTube if you want to see all the matches on YouTube. We already have some Smash 4 matches, but it's the Invitational. So, I mean, I think by then, all of our players who've been playing on the Japanese 3DS, all of us, Aerolink, Austin, all these guys are just going to be really polished. So by that time, when the American game comes out, it's going to be great.
Yeah, it's going to be insane. And our local players that have not gotten a chance to play it, I'm really sorry for the next month.
Yeah, it's not going to be.
It's not going to be pretty.
Yeah.
But I believe in you. You can do this. Take him out. Take out Oracle.
Don't do that.
Top 4. So.
I could have. I just thought the random seating, just like in the Swiss rounds, basically I think it like paired me down randomly, and I thought it was just like, I thought you and Dakpo were the better players, so I seeded you guys with the slightly lower seeds. But then Luck pulled off that upset and up smashed you a couple times.
Well, apparently up smash kills at 70. Whatever, leave it at that. If you haven't seen those videos, you should definitely check them out on our YouTube. youtube.com/tourneylocator. You can see all the videos from the Invitational if you missed it. Pay special attention to number 1, the finals, and number 2, the most viewed me versus Dinty. A really, really close set that shows off number 1, Sheik, and number 2, Yoshi and Duck Hunt Dog.
Oh yeah,
Some
but
really great play.
mostly you want to see the Duck Hunt Dog. Denty hasn't been playing him as much, but his Duck Hunt Dog is really, really cool. Got a lot of very interesting ways to use the projectiles. They're really, I think, just a really deep metagame.
Yep, definitely. And then we're going to have, after that, on October 11th, a very special tournament.
Oh, a very special tournament. A tournament of my own creation, which I will be running. We have dubbed it Godspeed.
Godspeed!
And I think it's going to be the first tournament of its kind. It's actually going to be a speed running tournament. So not just, they do the speed runs live, which is really cool.
Yeah. I love all the speedrunning guys. They're so cool.
Speedrunning's awesome. One of the reasons I wanted to do this tournament is because I've seen and I've heard people talk about that the speedrun and the Smash communities have a lot of parallels. Both are sort of underappreciated games with a huge fan base, and just people who, find these games that really just weren't meant to be played this way, but find all these, these deep ways to just do whatever you want, and it's beautiful. And so we're going to be speedrunning a game that's really well known for speedrunning, Super Mario 64.
Oh, it's going to be great.
It's going to be awesome.
I'm going to be entering. I got to start polishing up my Mario 64 skills. I'm very excited. A local player, Lunchables, he's going to be the one to beat.
Yeah, Lunchables, and actually, Problemo, right? Problemo, Jesse Bowles.
Does he speedrun 64?
He doesn't. I mean, Lunchables also doesn't really. He doesn't go hard for speedrunning, but they both do all the tricks and they both play the game. They're both really. I've seen them both play, and it's gonna be. I really want to just have the finals, have their TVs right next to each other, and then we're just all watching that. It's gonna be awesome.
That'd be legit. I'm definitely looking forward to it.
Yeah.
So, if you're in the area and you want to participate, please come. It's going to be at FX, and it's going to be hosted by our very own Oracle. So, outside of that, those are the big events that are happening on our Saturdays. We also have our weeklies. The first one being TLOC Talk, this being the first iteration of TLOC Talk. We'll be having those every Tuesday at 7:30 p.m. Then on Thursdays, we're going to be a lot of people have been asking, once Smash 4 comes out, is PM going to die? Well, from our standpoint, we're going to let the community as a whole dictate that, and that will be decided by the number of entrants.
Yeah, but I mean, a lot of people are acting like we should make an attempt to kill it, but,
no.
At the end of the day, it's a game. People like playing the game. People like getting together at tournaments to compete in the game. There's no reason not to do that. Just because there's another Smash game, doesn't mean you can't play two games. I think PM's way better than Melee. I still love Melee. I enter Melee tournaments.
Yeah.
I play Melee all the time. Well, to an extent. Don't really practice, but I mean, just because I play a game that is also a Smash game that I think is better than the other game doesn't mean I can't play the other game. They're different. Different strokes for different folks. Yeah. As the saying goes.
Oh, that's good. I like that saying.
Yeah.
So that will still be on Thursday. All of you PM only players don't need to fret. Just make sure that you keep bringing your friends.
Yeah.
Because if 8 people start showing up and that's about it, we probably have a problem. So Infinity and Beyond still happening Thursdays at 8 p.m.
Yep.
And then we're going to be bringing you a brand new series. And that will be tentatively named Shockwave. So that will be Friday at 8 p.m. Right now, every Friday at 8 p.m. we're holding a Smash 4 Invitational that 4 people from the actual invitational that we had this past Saturday. They're guaranteed to be in.
Yeah.
And then the other 12 can get in by calling dibs first.
Yep.
Essentially. So we'll be having a 16-man cap tournament until the game gets released in the U.S.
Yeah. So only for what, 2 weeks?
Yeah.
3 weeks?
Yeah, essentially.
I don't know. Does Smash 4 get released on Friday the 3rd or Saturday the 4th in the U.S.?
I don't know.
Well, that's something for us to figure out.
Yeah. So whenever the game actually does come out and then people have their own 3DSs to use, then we'll be removing that limit that we have on the entrance, and then we'll be officially calling it Shockwave, and that will be our Friday weekly. And instead of having it in Infinity's apartment, it's going to be at a real venue.
Yep.
So yeah, that's going to be happening this Friday as well. So tune in for that. That'll be at 8 p.m. Very exciting stuff.
Definitely. It's going to be awesome. I'm really excited to play more Bowser Jr.
Oh, snap.
Too much fun. Rupert, or Disaster, I should say.
A.K.A. RX, A.K.A. Rupert, A.K.A. John.
Yeah, his real name, I still don't really understand why you guys call him John. I mean, I know that there's another guy named John, but it's just...
We found a name tag on the ground at Walmart. It said Rupert on it, and we were having a hard time differentiating between 2 Johns. So we're like, hey, John, Disaster, your new name is now Rupert. And he said, okay. And so now he's Rupert, and it's the best name. It's awesome. It's great.
It reminds me of how Lunchables, his tag used to be Zack Attack. And then we were just like, he was like, I don't really like Zack Attack. And we were like, your new tag is Lunchables. And he was like, I don't really like that one. And we were like, nope, no, it's Lunchables.
Yeah, it's definitely.
We run the tournaments. You're going to be entered in every tournament as Lunchables. Sorry.
Yep. I keep trying to find someone to take the name The Game Genie, but
that's a great name.
It's such
So if you're in the chat right now and you haven't gone to a tournament, or you haven't decided on a tag, pick The Game Genie. It's great.
It's the best. I entered in as The Game Genie once. And then I got really terrified because I wasn't sure if the TO knew that The Game Genie was actually me. And so I didn't want to get paired round 1 with Sethon.
Yeah.
So then I ran over. I was like, hey, by the way.
Yeah, I'm The Game Genie.
I'm the game. They're like, we know, Brett. Go away. Stop making our lives.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think just about ends it. Is there anything else that you like to bring attention to the people, to the masses?
One last thing before we tune out. So let's say top 5 characters in Smash 4, and then after that, sleeper pick.
Ooh, okay. Top 5 initial characters. We got Zero Suit Samus. That's obvious. Come on, guys.
Yeah.
So many kill moves.
One the only 2 tournaments that have happened.
It has an infinite.
Yeah.
It's gonna be banned, but I mean, still doesn't matter. So that's one. So many kill moves. Then number 2, we have, in my opinion, Little Mac. Little Mac, I think, at least in the beginning, is going to reign pretty hard. I'm getting a little bit scared because of his recovery, but I think it's just because I haven't.
I mean, Falco in Melee.
Yeah. A lot of people have actually been referencing Lil Mac as a Fox or a Falco.
A very glass cannon
they
character.
Don't get touched, but if you don't get touched, you will rule the day. Forward tilts, forward smashes, and jabs.
It's so great. I actually just love seeing boxing characters because boxing is just so cool.
It is so.
No one else is a trained fighter. Everyone else is just like Bowser's just like claw. I'm gonna hit you.
But this guy,
kick. This guy he's powered just like.
Yeah.
He knows what he's doing. Uppercut. He's dodging your moves. It's awesome.
It's great stuff, and he has a counter that kills.
Oh yeah,
it kills pretty hard.
Beautiful.
So that's awesome. Who else? Sheik. Sheik's another one. So Sheik, a little bit limited on the actual killing people from the middle of the stage.
Mm-hmm.
It's really hard to kill people from the middle of the stage, but that's not where she excels. She excels much greater at controlling the neutral game, being able to get in and get damage, and being able to kill people on the edges of the blast zones.
Yeah.
Kill people from the top with up airs, which even if you air dodge, the up air last hit will still clip you, and that's the only hit that truly matters. From the edges, back air. Back air is insane. Back air.
Yeah, it's more or less, it's very similar to melee back air in that it's just a huge...
It's the stanky leg.
Yeah, recoveries are really good in this game, but not quite as like free as Brawl. So just having a big active frame move that you can throw out off stage to intercept is like, I think you're going to recover on this path, and my leg is now there.
Yeah.
Just that's a huge advantage to have.
Plus, it's a kill move.
Yeah.
So I've died and killed people at 30 or 40 just from making one good read with a back air off stage. So I think that Sheik is going to be really, really strong. I thought that Palutena would be in there, but from Dakpo opening up Palutena's defense at the Invitational, I really don't think that she's very viable. I think she's viable. I just don't think that she's in top 5.
Yeah.
Then, what else? I'm leaning very closely to Meta Knight, actually.
Really?
I played against Infinity, and Meta Knight feels very good. Very good. Shuttle Loop still kills.
In a different way.
Well, yeah, in a different way, but still, they die from the top, and they die pretty early. I can see him being top 5. Not the top 5 from Brawl. Not the top 5 from Brawl, but just really good. Really good. What does that give me? 4?
4. You got one more spot.
I got one more?
How could you forget our friend Sergio?
What?
Did you not play Sergio?
And his what?
His Rosalina.
No, I haven't played his Rosalina yet.
Dude. Oh, well, it's probably for the better.
You reminded me. So, yeah, the last one would be Rosalina. The ability to do smashes across the stage, insane. I think that she's going to be essentially a better version of Ice Climbers. In terms of, so with Ice Climbers, it was just sort of like you get the grab and you get the kill.
Yeah.
But in this case,
it seems you can force more stuff because Ice Climber, Mewtwo King has talked about Ice Climbers being one of the most obnoxious characters in Brawl because you don't really even have to make one read a lot of the times. You can just wait for a grab opportunity and then go for it.
Yeah.
But their neutral game is like kind of weak, but just with that huge punish game, like that's it. Rosalina and Luma, they might have team like juggling combos that are really cool, but they're not going to have the infinite. It seems like their strength is in the neutral game in a really like sort of like a trap character. I guess it's a puppeteer character technically.
Imagine if you could have Ice Climbers, but instead you get to decide where to send Nana. And even if you kill Nana, you can just do her special and get it back.
Well, actually, it's on a timer.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, I mean, it's really you wait 10 seconds and Nana respawns.
10 seconds, not a real timer. Especially for Aerolink. Aerolink can, the roll master, Aerolink roll master. He can wait those 10 seconds. It won't really be an issue. So yeah, I would put Rosalina. Any changes between my top 5 and your top 5?
I don't think Meta Knight's that good, but I haven't played Sean that much.
Okay.
And, honestly, I think Duck Hunt Dog might be really good. There's a whole bunch of characters I think might be really good, but I think just like it's probably just a lack of like. There's characters that have deep enough movesets to where they're really good at the start, and then you figure them out, and then they're not that good. But then they can just, go into the lab and develop something else to beat your options. But there's also characters that are good at the start, and then you figure out what beats that, and then that's it.
Yeah.
But it's hard to tell what good characters are which at this point. And I think Duck Hunt Dog could be either... Oh, no. Greninja. Greninja is extremely good.
You know why I don't say Greninja?
Why?
Because she is a strictly worse Sheik.
That is probably true.
The only thing that Greninja... No, I'm not. It's not even better. Greninja's Shuriken, his neutral B. I'm going to call him a him. His neutral B, super fast.
Yeah.
Really fast, and also you have the ability to charge it as a kill move. That will carry you off stage. Has a slightly better recovery, but I don't think the recovery actually matters because Sheik's is good enough.
Yeah.
In general, moves are slower. Instead of getting edge guards, which are a bit harder than with Sheik, he relies more on his good smash attacks.
Yeah, he has his up smash can kill pre 100.
Yeah.
His forward smash is good. I don't think I've seen his down smash.
Strong Bad doesn't use it.
Yeah.
So I assume it's bad. Yeah, I mean, he doesn't have a good down air.
I thought the down air was really good.
No. You have to commit. It's the exact,
You commit, but you get a big reward. You either get a meteor or you can combo. At one point, Strong Bad did Greninja down air, and it popped him up, and he just went over and footstooled them for the kill.
He probably didn't do that on purpose. There's no way he did that footstool.
Strong Bad loves footstools, so I'm actually 100% sure he did it on purpose.
Okay.
Yeah. But sleeper pick. What's your
sleeper pick? Ooh, okay.
While you think, I'm just going to say mine.
Sure.
Rob. I think Rob has a potential to be a top 10 character. He is incredible. So neutral air auto cancels when you short hop fast fall it. Staling doesn't matter because it leads into up tilts or whatever you want. He's got really strong projectile game. He's got great combos, great edge guards, good kill options. He's got one of 6 kill throws in the game. It's beautiful. I think he has a ton of stuff. He's still got the weakness of the recovery. Kind of sucks. It's worse than Brawl because you can't do rising aerials. Mm-hmm. But other than that, I mean, he seems extremely strong.
I'm going to say that my sleeper pick, and people already think that this character is really good, but I don't think that they think this character is top 5, and I think it's going to have to take an innovative person to make him top 5. Mm-hmm. I think that sleeper character is going to be Yoshi.
Yeah.
We've all seen the things that Yoshi can do, and we all immediately went, "Wow, this is really good." But there's a lot of things about Yoshi that just are going to take time to implement properly. So dash attack is insane. On shield, it'll end up crossing the person up and make it very hard to actually punish. The up B, essentially they molded Brawl up B and Melee up B.
Oh yeah, that's
the
great.
egg. So now you get the pop up just like you get in Brawl, where you can recover using your egg. But the eggs stay out super long, just like in Melee. So that's awesome. Yoshi has a command grab. Any character that has a command grab, I think instantly moves up a few at the minimum.
Yeah.
Because they're allowed to grab from the air. And that it allows you to do a lot of mix-ups and a lot of mind games with aerials or choosing to command grab instead. Up air is a kill move. I believe down B is a kill move. Still kept the momentum edge canceling that you could do in Brawl, which is awesome and allows you to do very, very quick things. And smashes, very strong.
Yeah.
Back air is a kill move.
Oh yeah, that was pretty cool.
Which is crazy.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
He just wags his tail.
Yep.
Tail
So
wag.
happy. So that's my sleeper pick.
Okay. Cool.
All right. So I think we're going to wrap it up for tonight. I hope that you've had an awesome time learning as well as us with TLOC Talk.
Yeah. Thanks for tuning in, guys. And remember, if you want to see any of the tournaments we talked about, subscribe on this or follow on this channel.
Yep.
The Twitch channel that you're currently watching. If you're watching this on YouTube, go to twitch.tv/TourneyLocator and follow if you want to see this live or our other videos live.
Yeah.
And while you're on the YouTube, you might as well subscribe.
Please. It helps us.
Yeah, it helps us. Sees everybody's videos, et cetera, et cetera. Everybody wins. It's great. And we will be posting about the tournaments coming up in our Facebook group.
Yep.
Or not Facebook group, Facebook page.
And also TourneyLocator.com.
Yeah, and we have a website, TourneyLocator.com, a utility to find tournaments near you for games, not just Smash. For example, I'm going to be putting up the speedrun tournament on TourneyLocator.com.
Ooh.
Yeah. So so go to the website and take a look out for that. It's gonna be great.
Alrighty, guys. Well, y'all have a great night, and keep spamming that demo until you lose all 30 of your attempts.
Keep asking for codes in the Twitch chat. I know we can't see the Twitch chat, but I'm almost certain there's at least 10 people who've asked for codes.
Oh yeah, definitely. We aren't taking off our shirt.
Yeah. Sorry, guys.
Okay. All right.
Maybe next time we get 500 subs on Twitch. We'll take off our shirts.
I will take off my shirt if you give us 500 subs.
Oh, yes.
That's totally worth it for me. So keep that in mind.
Oh, yeah.
Alrighty, guys. You have a good night. And this is Oracle and Bwet signing off.